right. Another great day for Sunny Your Side News. As long as we keep moving forward, keep having these episodes, keep doing the talk show, um, that's a success. If we are taking action, we're moving forward, we're not giving up, um, we're being consistent, we're going after it. Um, that's in early stages, that's success. You're being active. Um, a lot of times guys get into insurance or maybe selling stocks or sales maybe in general, you could say. A lot of times salesmen are not rewarded on the onset for making the deal, closing the deal. They're rewarded for activity. They're busy. They're being busybodies. They're putting in the time. They're getting referrals. They're building their client base. They're putting people in cars, test drives, or running them through analyzers, trying to find out what product line's going to fit best for somebody. They're learning the business through taking action, and that's maybe what this is for me right off the bat. Here is taking action on vlogging. How does this start? Or and I don't. This is vlogging. This is video blogging, right? Pretty much. I'm telling you a little bit about my life, giving you my insights. Really, it holds no truth other than if you believe it. Who is that? I think it's a Bruce Lee quote. If I tell you, I'm gonna butcher this, but if I tell you the truth, if it's not in your experience, what I tell you doesn't get you any closer or further from the truth. Because if it's not in your experience, you have no reason of knowing whether it would be or wouldn't be. If somebody tells you a story, whether it's a real story or not, it doesn't get you any closer to the truth unless, of course, it's in your experience and you understand it. Sometimes, though, this too, I'm speaking for the sense of open-mindedness, is if you come across a situation and it is in your experience and you don't believe what they have to say, you still might want to listen to them, because you may think it's in your experience, but it could actually be something that you haven't learned before. There might be a variable that this person has discovered that you were unaware of in your experience with that topic. So always be open-minded to possibilities. I believe Steve Jobs was laughed out of his own boardroom and later fired or forced to resign after inventing the iPad. Drew it up on a notepad in like I think it was the 80s. If I remember correctly, it was the 80s, according to the story. And again, these are stories. A lot of my experience, I go from, documentaries or reading books, and, I try to read books about multiple other, of the same topic, but from other point of views, because otherwise it'd be like if you read a book of the Republican mindset or, a conservative mindset, and then, made that your beliefs. Never heard the other side, which is a lot of what most people actually do. They're 100% right wing or they're 100% left wing, and they're just straight ballots. This is everything that I'm going to do. And it has no inclination of, actually putting in true thought of what this person might represent. Instead, they're just they're a Republican, I'm a Republican, I'm going to vote 100% Republican. And I do not think that if we want to create a better world, that is the type of mindset that's going to do it. And maybe I'm wrong. Again, this is me and my beliefs. Everybody's got the right to their own beliefs, but these are mine. So, I was saying though, you gotta try to get all the information, not just one half, because otherwise you might as well just be that person. I read a book, again on a Republican. I might as well just be a Republican because it's all that I know. It's the only mindset or perception, set of views, beliefs, policies that I understand. So I might as well just be that. I mean, I am whoever wrote that book at that point if all I have is that information to say. So I read a book called How to Read a Book. If anybody's ever read it and enjoyed it, I would like to meet you because I guarantee you are an interesting individual. I did enjoy it, but I also would say that it was a dry read. If you are looking for excitement or like a 007 novel, definitely not it. Probably the opposite end of the spectrum. Very informational. Just probably overloaded in that. And yeah. But it teaches you about 4 different reading categories. So you have elementary, which is what you are taught in school as a child. You are taught how to read. Inspectional really isn't taught to you, but you kind of develop it and understand it. Inspectional reading would be skimming through articles, books, what have you, and finding the information that is pertinent to what you are trying to do and retaining that information. Then analytical reading would be going back to probably your inspectional notes and finding things that you thought were important about the book and analyzing them to a deeper level, trying to ask the author questions and then finding the answers elsewhere within the book. So truly digesting this book and taking it all in. And then the 4th level, which is a level, again, that takes tons of patience. I'm definitely still just an inspectional reader. I read through a book front to back, and I kind of try to figure out what it means to me in a short sense. So I am very far from a veteran or a master reader. But syntopical, though, would be taking all those reads of the book, analytical reads, really understanding that book, and then taking books of that same topic that run along that same line and matching them together and kind of creating your own. You would probably, off of a syntopical read, you could probably write your own book off of all the books that you've read in that category. You'd basically be becoming a subject matter expert on that topic. You could probably write thesis papers, and this is something that somebody that has a master's in a certain topic would probably be enticed to do. So if you're out there and you are, going for your master's, and I would suggest reading How to Read a Book. I believe that would give you a lot of useful tools when you're writing your end of curricular papers to earn that degree. So, and I believe a lot of people that have masters have to write thesis stories and things like that. I don't know. Again, 2 whole semesters of college here, not super knowledgeable about post-secondary education and things like that, or graduate, undergrad, all that jazz. So conform ideas, take action in your life, keep going for it, and use the knowledge base out there, and don't just drink one brand of Kool-Aid. Try all the flavors so that you really know that you do like fruit punch. So, something else I'd like to talk about today. So, I had an interesting Friday at work. Work itself was great. And I've even since then, Friday was yesterday for me, so it's Saturday the 13th. It's one of my wife's best friend's birthday, so we're gonna go celebrate that, have a good time. You gotta live fully. Now, living fully is not doing this every single weekend, going out, hooping it up. Sometimes, though, you gotta reward yourself for putting in the work. So do the work. Grind. You got the rest of your life to relax. First, build a monument. Build a monument to put your house on for the end of days, for your kids, for your kids' kids, for your grandkids, for their grandkids. Build a monument for them. All right? Because they might not catch the insight that you do someday. Let's be honest. Great people are great because they are above average. And so you don't find them everywhere, even in the same bloodline. Now, that stuff is contagious, but But just because you're a great businessman doesn't mean you're going to be a great parent. Just because you're a great parent doesn't mean you're a great businessman, and vice versa, like all the way around. We all have skills, and we all should work on all those skills because everything's important. Everything is important. Never take anything for granted. Never say, I don't, this isn't that big of a deal. It is. If you thought about it, it probably is. Don't walk past stuff. Back to the story though here. So Friday, about noon, I get a call from my wife. She says, "Hey, I can't find my keys. Could you run home and grab the spare set? I don't know if they just fell out of my bag while I was working out." She was at a family workout center, and we come from a small town, 25,000 people or so. Not super big. I mean, that's the only town in 30 miles in all directions. So I mean, it's a rural area. I mean, it's nothing crazy. We got like a Walmart. It's probably like the biggest store. There's plenty of them though. Like I said, 20. It's not bad. It's a medium size. You're not gonna get it. It's not 100,000, but it's certainly not 1,000. That's where I came from. 1,000 people. Grew up. I had 30 kids in my class. Wasn't related to 3 of the 14 girls that were in it. So, or 4 maybe. I don't remember. But I dated out of town. My wife's from a city 300 miles away. So she calls me and tells me that. So I'm on my way home to grab the keys to our Explorer. And all of a sudden she calls me again and says the car's not where it was parked. I think somebody stole the car. So I kind of just jet over to the fitness center. And sure enough, it got stolen. So we reported it to the cops. We're 24 hours plus out now. Still no car. So that's a bummer. It's a stinker. I'm sitting here supposed to be telling you Son of Your Side news and everything's better. And it is. Worst things could have happened. She could have went out to her car and they could have been waiting there for her. That could have happened. She some inclination in her mind said, I'm not going to leave my wallet in my car like I usually do. I'm going to put it inside. So they took the keys out of her bag but left her wallet in there. Probably because she didn't have any cash, she said. She just carries cards. I mean, everybody carries cards these days. It's probably more probable that somebody's going to have a credit card you could steal than cash nowadays. Yep. What else is good about this? That's what you should always try to do. What's good about this? Not a lot. It's kind of tough. I mean, I'd much rather just have my car back. I was looking to buy myself a car. I drive an old Jalopy. I drive a 93 Oldsmobile Cutlass. Now, the bad boy's only got 80,000 miles on it. But I was kind of looking to upgrade. I've always kind of had a dirt car. I've burned through like 6 cars in my day. Some stupid errors and some just the fact of life is I was going for cheap. It gets me from point A to point B, and that's what was important. I never had to put a lot into them. If it wasn't worth the value of the car, it's time to move on. So, but I also learned. Here's something else out of it. I've learned something. You gotta be more prepared. I was telling myself months ago, we need to start saving more money. We need to save more money and have more money ready for emergencies. Now we're building the account up. We're at a nice place. We'd be able to pay a decent hospital bill if something came up. But they say you should have 3 months worth of your incomes, both incomes, 3 months. That's a decent chunk for my wife and I to obtain. So we've been working on getting there. We're about a third of the way there on that. We've got about a month's worth between the two of us. But now we have this situation come up. Now, another great silver lining, full coverage insurance. So the house is covered. The car is covered. Car's covered. Now you got to pay a deductible. But then, boom, we should get, we're thinking the car was going to be worth $6,000-7,000. And we think we're just going to kind of upgrade with it. Now, I don't like having a car payment. We're working through our student loans and then our house. That's our debt. She's got student loans. I've got a couple from a semester, those 2 semesters. Just never really pushed on it, and again, until I've educated myself on how important it is not to be in debt. So my wife's well over 3/4 of the way done with hers. She had like 60 or 70,000. When she moved back home after nursing school. She burrowed in. worked overnight, stayed at home, lived with her parents, and pounded out a decent chunk on those bad boys. But then she moved back, started living with me, and we've done some nice upgrades to our house. Invest in something that you'll get money back. We never went too overboard. Fresh coat of paint, some flooring, stuff that you'll get money back on, which is another thing you should educate yourself on. Home owning is an investment. Treat it as such. Okay? Make smart moves so that you get it back. We've been tracking all our receipts too, because it's really hard to tell really what you'll get back until you've done it at least once. So some of it's personal education too. You got to give it a go. That's what this whole topic was kind of about. Give things a try. Try, experience. Don't sit on the sidelines. So we've learned some things about this. How we want to better prepare ourselves. We got to be more ready. You never know. I said, honey, how many people can say they've had their car stolen? Huh? What an accolade. No, it's not a great accolade, but it taught us something about always being ready. And it's funny because my wife was looking for cars for me about 3 weeks ago. Now she's looking for cars for herself. So it is good to be looking for vehicles prior to you needing one. But we got a nice vehicle picked out for ourselves. It's got the bells and whistles that she's looking for. And I like to take care of my lady. I like her to have some things that she enjoys. So can't wait for this thing to kind of start taking off. No views yet. That's okay. I'm not discouraged. If you'll, I was talking to a kid at work. He's kind of a pessimist. I think I might have mentioned him in my last video, but he's kind of a pessimist. And I told him about this, and I was kind of chuckling during it. He's like, I'd be furious right now. How are you? Because in the grand scheme of things, and I'm gonna come out of life now. I am a spiritual person. I believe in God. I am a Catholic. God is very much alive. I have seen very many good things. I've been blessed in many ways because of my belief. I know that. I know He's listening to me. I know He is. So, He's challenged me and my wife in many ways, and if you look for the good, you now know what you need to do better. How you can prevent these kind of heartaches. How you can build a wall that nothing can harm you. All right? But also in this instance, so the car's gone. The car is of a material world. All right? This is a material world. It's important while we're here. It's our tester. It's our playing ground. This is where you prove to God that you're worthy to enter His kingdom, that you're doing the right things in life. I'm a sinner. I'm no perfect man. I'm no perfect man, but this is where you do it. But the thing is when you get there, none of this matters. This is all of a material world. It's all of a material world. That's why you can give it all away. Give it all away. You'll get it back in tenfold. You will get it back in tenfold, and maybe not here. Your reward might not be here. You might give it all away. You might suffer for years. Materially. You might never get it back here. But when you get there, He will reward you for what you've done. If you do it right, you do it righteously, and you do it in the name of God and Jesus Christ. All right? So, I don't like to get too religious on this, but I am and I'm no theologian either. I don't know much, but I feel a lot. I don't know anything. Saint Augustus, I think. I guess I am gonna get a little religious here. So Saint Augustus, walking along the seashore, I believe, comes across this boy. He's thinking about how the Trinity can exist. He's trying to figure out the Trinity. How can it be 3 people, 1 person? How does that work? And he comes across this little boy, and the little boy's got a seashell, and he's running to the ocean, and he's running back to this hole that he dug out of the sand. And if anybody's ever put water in the sand on the ocean, it fills up the hole, but then it goes right into the sand, and it goes right back out in the ocean. Like sand, it's so porous, it just flows right out. So he's grabbing this cup of water in the seashell, he runs back over the hole, and he dumps it in there. And he runs back out to the ocean, grabs some more water, and he dumps it in there. And he's trying to fill the hole. And St. Augustine says, what are you doing? He goes, I'm trying to fill this hole with water. And St. Augustine says, well, that's not possible. And the little boy says, no more possible for me to fit the ocean in this hole than for you to fit God in your mind. So when you're thinking, oh, what do you mean none of this matters? How can that be possible? You're thinking too much about it. And I'm probably thinking too much about it. It just is. Like, we can't comprehend because we've never been immortal. We've never had no beginning and no end. His existence merely is. There's no start or stop. Time's irrelevant. It's non-existent because what is it? It holds no, he's not chained by time. So remember that, and especially if you're a person of a spiritual nature, and I hope you are, because it gives you hope. It gives you hope someday, especially when you're down and you're in a poopy place. I mean, if I got God, this is part of his plan, and why? I don't know. I'm gonna find out. Something good's gonna come of this, and like I said, I think I figured it out. I mean, I want to be more prepared. I want to be more prepared. He wants me to be more prepared for things. So, God put you on a path to make you the best you could be. You just got to follow it, and you got to try to accept the curveballs, and you got to crush the fastballs when they're thrown your way. You got to be ready. You got to be prepared. So, you got to take action on your life. That's the overarching statement today. So, I wish you all a very best weekend. You probably won't hear from me again now till maybe Monday or so, but I love you all, everybody out there. It's not an abused term. Your objective in life is to be good to everybody, not just the people close to you. You should always be kind to everybody, even if they maybe don't deserve it. All right? They do. So, have a great day. Peace.